Well, good morning. It's Monday morning and you're scrolling through Facebook, you're checking your email, you're reading the newspaper, you're checking in on whether a hurricane is going to bear down on us. But I think probably at the top of all of your minds is this question, and it's this. Pastor Scott, why do we need God's wisdom? Well, I'm glad you asked, and that gives us an opportunity to look at the Bible and come up with some answers. Why do we need wisdom? And in fact, I've been reading this book by Pastor Ray Ortlund, who wrote on the Proverbs, and he's helped me to see that there probably are some big answers in the first 9 chapters of the book of Proverbs. And the first one, in chapter 1, says basically that wisdom, it preserves our life against violent people. It's a preservative. Wisdom helps us to live long lives. In chapter 2, which is the text that Pastor Steve just preached on yesterday, I'd encourage you to go back and look at that sermon, but it tells us that wisdom comes into our hearts as opposed to what the world might say, and many people think that it's actually our job to follow our hearts. Well, the Bible says that that might be a dangerous idea. In fact, wisdom comes into our hearts so that we might be shaped by God Himself. Chapter 3 talks about how wisdom can improve us financially. Chapter 4 talks about how we can be improved in our status in society. Wisdom helps us in chapter 5 to have better sex. In fact, Christians all around the world don't hate sex. In fact, if you're a biblical Christian, you look at sex as a great gift. So wisdom makes sex better. In chapter 6, we see that wisdom helps us to accomplish worthy goals. It helps us to pursue great things. Chapter 7 helps us to know that we can be protected against temptation. Wisdom helps us in the midst of temptation. Chapter 8 even helps us to open our eyes to see that all of God's creation is very good. And I wanted to read a text out of chapter 9, which is in Proverbs. Chapter 9 helps us to see this. It simply says, "Leave your simple ways and live, and walk in the way of insight." That's chapter 9, verse 6. Chapter 9, verse 10 says this: "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom." Why do we need wisdom? Because wisdom makes all of life better. You're sitting here on a Monday morning trying to figure out and thinking through what would the week look like. Well, I want to encourage you that one of the ways that you can improve your life this week, that you can see more of God and to be able to live a more full life. Jesus said in John 10:10 that I have come to give them abundant life. Well, what does that look like? Well, we believe that it includes wisdom. And so I want to encourage you to check out marcochurch.com, download our app. Make sure you like us here on Facebook if you're looking at it at this moment through Facebook. And we want to say this, that wisdom makes all of life better, and we at Marco Church are pursuing wisdom, especially this month and next, as we look and uncover, as we dig through God's wisdom. We believe that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and we want to make all of life better. I hope you have a great Monday. May the Lord bless you and keep you today.